How many more fights would you say? I know you said maybe one, but come on.
I don't know, 1, 2.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not one of those guys. I told you, I'm not one of those guys that's going to be fighting till I'm 45 and I'm punchy.
I think Spence will be in the Hall of Fame.
Right now? No, how? He fought in one division. He had the WBC,
he didn't fight all
WBA.
four. He wasn't undisputed. He
no,
wasn't
no,
undisputed.
he wasn't. No, what I'm saying is they already called him a weight bully. He beat Kell Brook coming off of a loss, an eye injury. He beat Sean Porter.
In all fairness, he had to go over there to get that.
You know what I mean? That's a good win. I'm still a fan. I hope he do well. But like, once it got to the point where I moved up in weight and I'm in the same weight as Spence, it's just like, oh man, you ain't fighting nobody. You this, you that, you this, you that. So now they trying to blame it.
After Errol Spence Jr. abruptly called Terence Crawford out for a rematch, Terence Crawford responded in a mocking manner. Crawford believes that Errol Spence is a quick money scam since the outcome would be completely the same as the previous bout, if not worse.
My accomplishment just to boost him up. I'm like, dude, you're not gonna do that because I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't. Everything that I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish. I don't want to sound like I'm hating on him. I honestly don't know if he make it to the Hall of Fame with the accolades that he didn't got right now.
After Spence was knocked out cold 2 years ago, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. rekindled a rivalry that many believed had died. But Spence is about to return to the ring, and out of all the possibilities available to him, he has decided to face Crawford once more. Of course, he didn't plan all of this on his own.
Is there ever a possibility where you would rematch Errol Spence? Or is he in a position where he needs to win again before that makes sense for you?
The possibility is there.
I'm walking over my feet. You know, I want to get out the game. I got kids. Got a mom and dad, and they want to enjoy me. So,
when Errol Spence heard Crawford say on a podcast that he wasn't worthy of being inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame, he was compelled to take this action. Crawford's statement, according to Spence and a number of other boxing experts, was demeaning and called for a fighter like Errol Spence, who emerged from a horrific car accident to defeat elite opponents and oust the current welterweight champions, to unify 3 titles in the category. Spence isn't even prepared for arguments. He's going to take matters into his own hands and do everything in his power to defeat the first boxer to be undisputed in 2 weight divisions during the 4-belt era.
Everything got to come to the end, and sadly, this definitely got to come to the end. So I'm definitely gonna get out while I still can, and not either be forced out or I have to keep fighting because I need money.
Add one more belt though.
His boxing record shouldn't prevent him from earning Hall of Fame glory, nor should the loss to Crawford overshadow his 28 victories and 22 knockouts. In response to Crawford's claims that he called him out for a rematch, Errol Spence believes that there won't be any disputes about his Hall of Fame status once he defeats him. However, Crawford has now responded with the most scathing statement, saying that any fight with Spence is easy money. Whether Errol Spence Jr. should be inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame is a topic of continuous contention in the boxing community. This issue gained momentum with the 2-weight Terence Crawford, the undisputed champion, and Spence's erstwhile opponent, discussed the subject on the Pound for Pound podcast with Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo.
When a lot of poise, broke him down and was able to stop him at the end.
Everybody's wondering what's going on with you and Terence Crawford. This fight gonna happen?
I think it's gonna happen. We both want to fight. I want to fight. He wants to fight, and it's going down to negotiations. So I definitely gonna get the fight this year, and we're gonna square off this year with the biggest fight in boxing.
It is the biggest fight in boxing. Where and when, if you were guessing?
I don't know where. I don't know when, but it's definitely gonna be this year.
All right.
Pressed further, Crawford stated that he could retire today and that his achievements in the sport would guarantee his induction into the Boxing Hall of Fame, but he wasn't entirely certain that his former opponent would receive the same treatment, saying he couldn't like everything that I've accomplished and that he's still trying to accomplish. Crawford began by enumerating Spence's work thus far. He only competed in 1 division, never won a title, and wasn't undisputed. But the point is that they already labeled him a weight bully because he defeated Kell Brook after suffering an eye injury and a defeat.
Endor, for his title, I'm fighting for a title. and they're the possibility. He win his fight, God willing. I win my fight, God willing. And there's your possibility right there.
In an attempt to defend his claims, Crawford stated that there has been a significant criticism from both fans and experts since the podcast's release. Former World Boxing Organization super featherweight champion JL Herring has now joined the discussion to offer his thoughts on the subject. Herring said that although he disagrees with Crawford's perspective, he loves him.
Man, I got a lot of skill sets I feel like advantages over him. But at the end of the day, I feel like this fight is basically so even. You know, it's going to be more about just being more focused and, you know, not getting out of focus, especially in the later rounds, just making sure, staying on point all throughout the fight and making sure you don't lose focus, because that's how...
Errol Spence Jr. started his lengthy career as a unified champion in one of boxing's most storied divisions. In contrast to Crawford's claim that none of the belts were up for grabs, Herring emphasized that Spence had defeated every world champion in the division to unify all of the titles. Herring also mentioned Kell Brook. When he defeated Sean Porter and Dennis Ugas, they were all defending champions. During his run, Spence packed arenas, sold pay-per-views, and helped carry the welterweight division. His impact and accomplishments stack up with many already in the world, and the 39-year-old highlighted Spence's victories over Mikey Garcia and Danny Garcia, the latter being especially impressive as it came after Spence's life-threatening car crash. Herring concluded by pointing out that Spence's achievements are not negated by a single defeat to one of the sport's top fighters.
It really surprised me. He was just like I thought. It just my timing wasn't good today.
Questions for Errol Spence Jr.
Hey, Errol, Keith Heideck from BoxingScene.com. What do you attribute your timing not being there to? Did you feel off physically or anything, or what was wrong in the fight?
Errol Spence Jr. deserves to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Meanwhile, one of Spence Jr.'s former opponents has also offered his thoughts on the situation. Dennis Ugas and Errol Spence Jr. fought in April 2024, before Crawford ended Spence's unbeaten streak. Spence had defeated Ugas via technical knockout in the 10th round, leaving the Cuban fighter with an injured eye. Despite the defeat, it seems that Ugas has no animosity toward the truth, as he offered his thoughts on Crawford's allegations. In a tweet, Ugas said, "I even believe that if Errol Spence Jr. retired today, he would be a Hall of Famer." Herring. The Cuban had pointed out that Spence had recovered from his car accident with eye surgery to win titles, adding, "He has an incredible story of overcoming it. He severely injured my eye, but that's boxing."
I feel for his power, probably like first, second round. You know, he's a strong dude, but you know, everybody at this top level have some type of power. But I think because my time was out, he was catching me in between shots.
I get to say I told y'all, because I've been asking for these fights for years, and y'all been saying, "Oh, he's too small. He's gonna get this. He's gonna get broken."
Ugas acknowledged that it was an honor to have faced Spence Jr., but he stated that he still hoped Spence would return. He came to the conclusion that since Crawford won the WBO welterweight title in his debut bout at 147 PBS in June 2018 by TKO over Jeff Horn, there had been cries for a summit meeting with Spence for years, but there had been one obstacle: big competing promoters. A major obstacle to the eagerly awaited fight was the fact that Spence is affiliated with PBC and Crawford was promoted by Top Rank for years. After defeating Sean Porter via TKO in the 10th round in November 2021, Crawford became a promotional free agent. The Sids spent most of the year in negotiations, nearly reaching an agreement in September. But the negotiations broke down at the last minute, setting the stage for a possible fight with Spence. In December, Crawford defeated David.
Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. for providing us an unbelievable boxing here in Las Vegas. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now I want to bring up, he is the
Veronesian in a highlight reel 6th round knockout in his hometown of Omaha, Nebraska. Spence from the Dallas-Fort Worth area last fought in April 2022, winning a 3rd welterweight title by technical knockout in the 10th round against Jord Dennis Ugas in Arlington, Texas. This was Spence's first fight since he had surgery in August 2021 to repair a detached retina. He was scheduled to face the legendary Pacquiao that month but canceled due to the eye injury. But Spence recovered better than ever, much like when he recovered from a serious car accident in October 2019 that threatened to end his career. While many boxers have been forced to retire due to a detached retina, Spence returned after surgery 14 months after the accident and defeated Danny Garcia via decision. Similar to Sugar Ray Leonard's orbital break in the 1980s, in front of 19,990 spectators at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, on July 29, 2023, Terence Crawford fought Errol Spence Jr.